All right, guys, this is the 10th hole at Met Center. You can see there are basically two ways to play it. Again, if you're a righty and you throw your backhand, you can come out to the right and hyzer in. If you're a righty and throw a forehand, you can go out of bounds and come back in. I'll bet you can guess which way I'm going to go. So I've got a verdict here. This is a pretty stable mid-range. I know I can throw this disc this distance, but I did not throw this hard enough. And that actually is a trend for what I'm seeing over the next few holes. I left this a good 30, 40, 50 feet short. So now I'm just playing it. This is about 66 feet. So now I'm just playing this upshot. I'm gonna run this, but it doesn't really get close. I'm kind of waiting for the day they put a Mando on this hole, because I can't conceive of any reason why, no matter how you throw the disc, you wouldn't just go right at the basket, which is right down there. I don't know why you would go around these trees or through that opening right there when you can just go right at the basket. Not sure they'll ever put a Mando in here, but I feel like they will at some point, and that will make this whole play significantly harder. I hope it came through what just happened with that throw, because I got supremely lucky. In case it didn't, I'm gonna say I threw it way too far left, and with probably a little too much speed, and with probably not quite the right stability of disc. But when the disc started hyzering up, it skipped off the concrete basin of this creek that I'm walking beside and came back in play. Very, very lucky. And also an excellent example of what no pictures on the scorecard means. No one's ever gonna know that happened. If I didn't have video evidence and didn't post it to the internet, no one would ever know. If I make par here, no one would ever know how I made par. They would just say, all right, he made par. But I got incredibly lucky on that throw and now have a realistic chance to save par. So I got a Justice in my hand here. This is a very stable mid-range and sitting at about 222 feet. And I really should throw this much harder than I do. Like I said, I'm noticing a trend in my upshots that I'm not throwing them hard enough. Well, that wasn't what I was looking for on that throw. My disc is right here. The basket is right there. I was trying to throw that on a little more of an ante, maybe a little harder. It's a very stable disc, so I could have thrown it harder on more of an anhyzer and gotten it to get a little closer, I think. But I've got to look at birdie, and that's really all I can ask for. So the 12th hole here is a 431 foot par 4 that you kind of have to go out to the left unless you have some, elite power that you can go at the hole. That is not me. I don't have elite power, but I really throw this one really well. If you told me I could walk up here and put my disc anywhere in the fairway, I doubt I could have found a much better spot than this. I'm staring right down at the basket. Not sure what I have for distance yet, but I'll get it up there. But this is as good an opportunity I've had from off this tee to make a birdie on this hole. So I'm really hoping to convert it. So like I said, I'm staring right down at the basket. I've got 201 feet. I've got my origin in my hand. And once again, I don't throw this hard enough. I need to throw my upshots much harder than I have been. And that upshot, which I probably should have thrown harder with a more stable disc, leaves me this 23-footer for a birdie. I throw a pretty good putt here, but I get really unlucky when it hits the cage and then rolls away. I end up rolling down. There's a bank here. You can't really tell here, but there's definitely a bank here that the disc rolls down. And then from this view, you can see, looking at 18 feet back up this bank, make a pretty good putt here. I'm actually proud of this putt because it would have been easy to miss that, and I'm proud to have made it. So 260 feet, the 13th hole out here at Met Center is not long, but as you can see, it is all tunnel shot. You've got this narrow gap to hit right at the basket. Anything that doesn't hit that gap is going to probably kick into the woods, most likely, and then you'll be struggling to make par. I usually go somewhere between par and bogey on this hole, never even come close to birdieing it, so I'm really just playing for par. I mean, obviously, because I am a master at backhand tunnel shots, I've got this one dialed in right up until it hits a tree and kicks right into the woods. Now, there you go. You can see that I'm in the woods, really just probably playing for bogey at this point. I don't see how I'm really going to make anything but bogey from in here. I don't even have any idea how far out I am. So really just trying to get myself back into play, which I do. So after that tee shot, I was always going to be playing for bogey. I was in trouble. No real shot at the basket there, so I got myself back out into the open and tried to get up and down for a bogey here. So this is the fourth shot from 60 plus feet, so like 60 to 70 feet that I've had in this 9 already. I'm not really trying to make this putt though, because I've got trees in my way and stuff. I'm really just laying this up, playing for bogey, making sure I make no worse than bogey. All right, so we get to the 14th hole here. As you can see, it's 563 feet. This is where having a backhand would come in really handy. I throw my forehand with a pretty stable, understable disc. It's a trespass, and it kicks off a tree into the right bushes here, which is where I am right here. I've got this patent pending, basically just trying to move forward, get the disc forward down the fairway, and set myself up to save par. I didn't have much on that second shot just now. I just had a little, like a step out patent pending backhand. I actually threw it decently. I threw it so well that I hit a tree that I didn't think I would be able to reach. So I should have a pretty easy upshot here. Hopefully I can get up and down for par. So I always feel like the last tee shot kind of sets you up for this tee shot. Whatever you threw on the last hole, you're probably going to want to throw this hole. Maybe a little more stable if you're on a righty backhand, or a little less stable if you're on a righty forehand. But either way, you just have to get down in play somewhere to give yourself a shot at getting up to this basket, up to this green. I don't think I've ever birdied this hole. I may have come close once or twice, but it's a tough hole for me. It doesn't set up well for my forehand because of the danger on the right. So I just play for par. Well, as I just said, I've got my understable Hades I'm throwing here on my forehand, and I throw a really good shot. Yeah, definitely one of my better drives on this hole. I'm right on the edge of the pond, which shortens the length I have to get to the basket. Really good forehand anti-flip, forehand flip that drifted back toward the water and didn't take a huge skip, didn't roll or nothing. It's sitting there nicely. Pretty happy with that drive on this hole. Like I said, pretty pleased with that drive. Ended up right there. And the basket is right up there. I've got 219 into the basket. Just gonna take a little forehand mid-range and try to put it up there somewhere close. Continuing the theme that I set, the precedent that I set earlier, I do not throw this hard enough. I've really got to work on throwing my upshots harder because I think I'm underestimating how far the throws actually are. So I leave myself this 43 footer for a birdie, and I'm not to the point where these are anywhere near automatic, or even I get them all that close very often, but I give this a run, and I don't make it, of course, but it's a pretty good par, all things considered. So I'm in a bit of a quandary on this hole. What wind there is coming from left to right. So if I try to throw any kind of stable forehand, I'm going to be exposing the flight plate, the underside of the flight plate, to this wind. On the other hand, I don't think I can throw a backhand 255 feet with any disc. So I'm not entirely sure what to do here. I might just go with the backhand, play for par. That way I'm not taking the unnecessary risk of exposing the flight plate to the wind and blowing it even further off course than what I would be if I just threw the backhand. So guys, I have a confession here. I do not know what disc I'm throwing here. I want to say it's an Escape, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure what disc that was. I actually threw it pretty well, though. Well, I gotta admit, I threw that a lot better than I thought I did. I knew I threw it well. I didn't think I threw it as well as I did, though. Right here, basket's right there. Got about 42 feet for a birdie. Okay, guys, so I've got this putt here. Like I said, it's 42 feet, and if you listen really closely, you'll see or hear how I feel about this putt. Obviously not my best effort there, but I do have this little comebacker inside the circle, and I managed to knock it down for a pretty easy par. So we got the 16th hole here, a 534-foot par 4. I've got my trusty trespass in my hand here, and I throw a pretty good drive. I'm really happy with this drive. It finds the right side of the fairway, which sets up this shot, this second shot from about 303 feet, just over 300 feet. And I throw this one really nicely too. This is a pretty good throw on a sidearm to leave me about 40 feet. So 260 on that second throw, leaving me this putt for a birdie. I don't quite manage to convert, but it's still pretty good hole played, and I will absolutely take this par, no question. Guys, as always, it is my absolute pleasure to be out here to play some disc golf, or golf, whichever I'm doing, and have you guys watch it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience with me as I, make my fumbling way around these golf courses. I appreciate you very much. If you would, lightly caress. Get some rose petals, dip them in lavender, and lightly caress the like and describe button. The like and describe. Do me a favor. Get some rose petals and dip them in lavender, and then lightly caress the like and subscribe buttons with those pedals. They would appreciate it, and so would I. Well, guys, I've got my trusty trespass in my hand here on this, I want to say it's 503 feet. I forgot to get a picture of this placard. And I get a little close to the out of bounds on the left with this shot. As you can see, I'm kind of in a weird spot next to this tree. Throw a decent shot here, a decent second shot, and that shot leaves me right in the neighborhood of 60 feet. A lot of these 60 footers for birdies today, and I've converted absolutely none of them, so no reason to break that trend, right? Well, guys, you just witnessed one of the best rounds I've ever played on Met Center. I am even through 18. Not bad at all. I threw a lot of really good shots. I threw some turds as well, but a lot of really good shots. I'm very proud of how I played on a course that I generally don't play well on. So it was good to come out here and lay down a decent score. Guys, once again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. And I'll see you next time on No Pictures on the Scorecard.